Hello, I'm live, and I appear to have had some difficulty still in learning how to broadcast. So, this has been a phenomenal learning experience, and I want you to hold on for just a couple of minutes. I want to send out a new link so that more people can join because I understand there was a problem with the prior link. So, I am going to switch to another screen so that you can see so you can still hear me, but so that everyone who is interested in being a part of this conversation can join in. So I just need about 30 more seconds and you'll see my face. Um, I'm just writing a new link to join Self Care Challenge live broadcast. So for them to join now at the link. And then I'll just share a few things while we see how many people might want to join in with us. So I appreciate all those who are have made it and did not have any problems. And I just mostly appreciate everyone who chose to be a part of the challenge. So um, pardon me for having a blank screen while I get everyone orientated. So um, let me actually start out by sharing a couple of things that I wasn't planning to, but just to give people a few moments to join in on the conversation. So, I want to talk a little bit about what I have been doing for self care, just even today on day two of the challenge. So, first and foremost, um, when whatever I'm is going on, I find it to be really critical to literally just be still, to start each day um, praising the Lord for another day, for all that He has done, just being thankful for all of the many wonderful things that are a part and that have been a part of my life. I love to listen to music. Most of you know that I love music, love dancing, and have a very extensive playlist. I love listening to music to start off the day so that I'm feeding my spirit at the beginning of the day with a wonderful spirit, wonderful words, powerful words. So I also will begin in prayer and also will begin by reading the word. Oftentimes it is the Bible. Other times it will include my journal, reading what I have written or what I have learned from others, or just what I'm hearing in my spirit, I'll write in my journal. But most of the books that I read are inspirational books, books that, again, nurture my spirit, that speak to who I am as a spirit being, as a soulful person, and as someone who wants to honor my temple, my body, for as many years as possible. It is my hope and desire to be a centurion. So I've had the pleasure of walking with someone all the way to their 100th year, and I look forward to walking and even kicking high once I become 100. So now that everyone has had the link, and I see that we are all set to go for those who are already on the conversation and those who will be joining. So let me start by pulling up the PowerPoint that I have for us today. So, um, first of all, this is the official kickoff of the Live and Give 100 40-day self-care challenge. Woo woo! It has been a wonderful journey getting here, a few technical bumps in the last 2 days, but I have learned a lot. I've never done a YouTube video before. I've never posted Facebook videos before. So there's lots that I've learned in this process in addition to staying focused on self-care. So for everybody who went to the website and signed up, as well as those who I've met with in person, who um, said, yes, Chandra, I'm with you, and paid me in person or sent it through the mail, I want to say thank you. I want to acknowledge that there's a variety of diverse people that are part of this process. And I think it is awesome that not only is the group diverse, but it's a really, really great group. So we have people in California, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, the Michigan, both the upper and lower peninsula, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. So from 9 different states, and there still may be a few other people who will be joining in late. Also, it's diverse in terms of age, 16 all the way to 76. If there's anybody that's older than 76, let me know. But these are the age ranges to my knowledge, from a variety of professions, both health professionals, people who work in corporate America, who work in nonprofits, who have their own business, that are artists, that are poets, social workers in real estate, accountants, law enforcement, a variety of different types of work that people do at every level of the organization. People who are single, married, divorced, kids, parent, no kids, grandparents, great grandparents, people who have dealt with a variety of different health challenges, and people who have overcome some very, very significant health challenges. I'm thankful to say that I did have a significant what appeared to be significant health challenge that I was able to overcome. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, people from different faiths, as well as people who have no religious affiliation. Everyone is connected to me in at least one, if not more, the following ways. Because you're part of my family. We first met in high school and college while I worked in corporate America or government, through my consulting or coaching practice, through church or some form of ministry, or because we share a common faith, through my various community and civic engagements, through writing and through poetry, or we live together. There are people who I have known since I was at least 9 because we grew up in the same neighborhood. But ultimately, people who I love and respect and really appreciate your participation in this process, and the knowledge and feedback that you'll be able to give. But the common denominator is that all of you are busy givers. So I also wanted to highlight that there's a couple things that I want us to be able to do today. So first, tell you a little bit in terms of why and how this challenge came to me. Also, I want to talk about the process to answer any questions that you might have, and just to make sure that we're clear and all on the same page in terms of what is the challenge and how you participate. And then also answer questions and talk a little bit about the next steps. So the why. So one of the reasons why is because I've had some phenomenally great influences on my life. One person who many people have heard about, and of course some of you know, is my grandmother. I appreciate that she made up her mind a long time ago, from as long as I knew her, that she was going to live to 100, and she did. And with the exception of her last year and a half, she did everything that she was always able to do throughout her life. So at 98, she was shoveling snow, mowing grass, gardening, cleaning her home, moving about, and doing any and everything she wanted to do. When we were growing up, she used to literally race us. So she was in her 60s when she would race us down the street. So she had a primary influence on my life. I have a quote to follow this, but people like Jack LaLanne are also another influence. People who I've seen have incredible focuses on promoting health, but who really believed and were able to help others. But my focus, just so that you know, are on people who've lived a long and healthy life. And I have studied them, I have researched them, and I have done a lot of research because of my own health challenges. So there was a point when I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I just knew that sometimes I could barely move, that the level of fatigue that I experienced was so great. And ultimately, to make a long story short, discovered that it was allergies. So I was allergic to almost everything, and it was causing all sort of symptoms: numbness and headaches and tingling, and like I said, almost debilitating immobility, all sorts of challenges that I was sometimes able to press through. Other times it resulted in me just literally being sick. But it was all because of allergies. So I made changes to my diet. I made changes to my environment. I did not want to take shots. And as a result, I not only no longer have allergies and have been without allergies for many years, but it's part of what created this path of really understanding how to take better care of yourself and looking at it from all dimensions: your spiritual health, your health at a soul level, your mind, your heart, and your emotions and will, and also at a body level. Also, I have, I'm a researcher. I love reading. I love learning. I love finding out why things happen at a root cause level. I also like finding out how to predict outcomes. So I've literally for over 25 years have been doing research on health. I have a very extensive library in general, but in particular an extensive health library. And I've experimented. I've tried different things and I have found what works best for me, and also found things that have worked well for Matthew and for others. But another reason for this challenge is because of the people that I love and work with. And I see health and being such a challenge for so many people that I know. And I'm believing that through this challenge that I will be surrounded with healthier people, that I'll be surrounded with people who have new tools, new resources, new information, new support, a new incentive, and new energy around taking care of yourself. Through all the research, basically it led me to conclude that one of the greatest ways that I could have an impact on the world, and specifically an impact on those who are within my world, is by supporting people and having a focus on self-care and really understanding how to take better care of themselves. And then one other factor is I'm 48. In January, I will be 49, and I would like to be one of those wonderful centurions. And I know that I have to be focused on, continue to focus on my health and to do new things so that I can be the same. It is absolutely my goal that I will be able to do the same things at 98 that I'm able to do at 48. And I hope to look almost the same. So, God willing, we'll see. So those are some of the whys. So I wanted to share with you this quote from Jack LaLanne that I thought was kind of cool. And, I'm not sure exactly how old he is in this picture, but I believe he's somewhere between 78 and 82. So, I hope to be someone who can look good in a tight athletic shirt when I get to be older. But nonetheless, let's share. So life is a battlefield. Life is survival of the fittest. How many people do you know? How many happy people do you know? Think about it. People work at dying and they don't work at living. So let me just pause there, because part of what I hear in that message is that if we don't focus on living and taking good care of ourselves, as a result, we're actually working on dying, that we are undermining ourselves if all we do is work, 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 work. Also, he says that telling the truth is what has kept him going all these years. He does not want to be one of the people who has Alzheimer's and a wheelchair. He does not want to live like that, and he didn't. So he did make it to the age of 96. He unfortunately ended up dying of pneumonia, but I understand that it was basically for his last week. He had this challenge. He exercised every day up until his last day, and then he died. So I would hope that there's a lot that we could all learn from Jack LaLanne, but just to share that he has been one of my inspirations. So a couple of quotes that I also want to share with you is: what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. There's so much strength and power and energy and resources within us. And I want to encourage us to recognize the God-given ability that we have, that we are wonderfully made, and that sometimes the challenge is we don't know how to tap into it because we haven't been taught, because we don't know someone who's overcome certain challenges and diseases. So And also because we don't realize the connection between our mind, our body, and our spirit. And there is a difference between your mind, which are the, which is kind of what you think, and it is connected to what you do. But your soul actually is your mind, your will, and your emotions, and how all those things work together. I also want to highlight another quote from um, Aldous Huxley. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. The last one is from 1 Timothy 1 and 5. Our teaching about this journey is intended to bring us to a single destination, a place where self giving love reigns from a pure heart, a clean conscience, and a genuine faith. I think that it is wonderful if all of us together can be more, have more love to give, because we are renewed, we are rejuvenated, we have the resources to pour into all that we are called to do, that we have a clean conscience, and that we really know that we can do it. So there's more that I want to share from the video. I'm sorry, from the PowerPoint, but I just wanted to pause to just see if we had any questions coming in. At this point, I don't see that we have any questions, so I'm going to continue with the PowerPoint, and just say, for all those who are with me on this Google Hangout, my first time hanging out in Google, thank you, thank you, thank you. So the next thing I want to share is the goal. So the goal of the self-care challenge is to inspire, encourage, and engage you in a process of helping you take better care of your whole self, and to establish a new level of self-care for the rest of your life. So the reason why we're doing this for 40 days, and 40 days is a symbolic number. It represents transformation and change. Some of you may know that to break a habit, that it generally takes about 6 weeks, which is also roughly 40 days, to really solidify a change that will stick, a change that moves from you consciously doing something to you unconsciously doing it, and it becoming a way of life. So the focus of this challenge is to encourage you in a new way of life. So part of the diversity of this challenge is that there are some people who are really outstanding at self-care. And I want to learn from them and look forward to them sharing their stories as we connect through the challenge. And there's some of you who are pretty poor at self-care. So at whatever level you are, high, medium, or low, we're looking to take it to the next level together. And also for that change to be lasting. Now, what do you receive for your $40? Hopefully you're clear, but just in case, I want to go through some of the key things. Is it first and foremost a partner? So I am looking forward to being your partner throughout this process. And I am formally inviting you to allow me to be your facilitator. A facilitator is someone who makes things easy. And it is my goal to help make this process, the process of taking care of yourself, the process of self-care, to make it easier for you. And I'm simply asking that you offer 1% of your day to this process. I cannot believe that 1% of your day out of a 24-hour day is 15 minutes. So the exercises that you will be asked to do, I'm asking you not to take more than 5 minutes to do it. And I'm also asking you to take some time to be still. So again, what I'm asking you to do is eminently manageable. There's absolutely no excuse. And again, I'm asking you to allow me to help make things easier. But in order for that, you have to do it. And what I'm asking for really is simple. So the second benefit of your $40 is the process. It is a unique process of focusing on your whole self, spirit, soul, and body, and doing that consistently. So there isn't anyone that I have spoken with who has been intentional about nurturing and caring for their spirit, soul, and body on a daily basis, on a consistent basis. So that is what makes this process unique. There are other things that make the process unique, but that's probably, like the biggest one. And we'll talk a little bit more about the process later. Number three, practice. Like, it's great that together this is a safe space to try out new things. So some of the things that I will be introducing you to, you may have done before, but I guarantee that some of the things are going to be new, and learning from the diversity of people and experiences that are in this challenge. um, Also has you participating in an extraordinary community. I really feel blessed at just how extraordinary every single person is who's a part of this challenge. Everyone has an incredible story to tell, and also great things to contribute to this challenge. And then, in addition to practice, another benefit of what you receive for your $40 is a promise that you will have new insight. The reason for doing the daily challenge and the daily focus is because I want you to understand how big of a difference little things can make. You absolutely have a problem if you can't find 5 minutes to send an email, if you can't find a few minutes to be still throughout the day. If you are not able to do this challenge, then that's a big red flag. And let me go back because I want you to see me doing this. Big, big red flag. If you can't find 5 minutes to do these assignments, it means you need to make some changes in your life. If you can't find a few minutes every day to be still, it means you need to make some changes in your life. So, one of the things that I have learned through my 25 years of being focused on self care um, is that it is really important to pay attention to the early indicators. So, all of you have a vehicle, and you know that there's a light that comes on for most of the current vehicles when the gas is getting low. There's a light that comes on when your oil is getting low or needs to be changed. There are various signals when something is in jeopardy. And so, one of the things that I will be encouraging in this process is to pay attention to early indicators. When you pay attention to those early indicators, that's what enables you to make a change and to then not experience major consequences. So, just like a car, if you don't change your oil regularly, if you don't pay attention to those early indicators, something major can happen. Like, your engine will blow. At some point, your engine will blow. It's only a matter of time. If you run out of gas, you won't go anywhere. So the car has the ability to function, but it doesn't have what it needs to function. And that's the same thing with us, but even more so. There are certain things that are required at the spirit level, at the soul level, and at the body level for you to function, period. And then there's certain things that are required in order for you to function at a higher and higher and higher level. And all of you have great responsibility and great ways that you are impacting the world. And this is the main reason why I'm doing this challenge, because I so want to see you all keep contributing and doing more. All of us can think of people that we've lost. And I would like to keep all of you in my life as long as God has for you to be here. And I know that God has given us all long life. Um, Jesus had a special call on his life to leave the earth early. But for most of us, our calling is not to be a martyr. It is not to sacrifice our life in terms of dying, but to sacrifice our life in terms of living and giving. And that's what I want to encourage us to be able to live and give 100% for 100 years. So again, I appreciate those of you who have joined. And if you have missed any portion of this video, please know that it will continue to be available for you. Um, so continuing on, there are some additional benefits. So I want to let you know, I think most of you, if not all of you, realize this, that by participating in this challenge, you will get a signed copy of my new book, The Essentials of Self-Care, Spirit, Soul, and Body. You will be invited to book launch events as a VIP. Also, I want you to be very clear that one of the benefits of this process is that what you share with me will be confidential, unless I ask for you to make it available to me to share, and then I will request that in writing, and then you can respond in writing, so there'll never be a question about whether or not it should be shared. And then also, some of you I will reach out to and actively ask if you would share your story, your lesson, your experience as a part of this challenge, because I would love to include it in the book. So some things will be mentioned just as a general learning, but there's some people that I'm already expecting that your experience through this challenge is going to be so life transforming that I would love for it to be a blessing to others. So know that that also is a possibility and one of the benefits of being a part of the challenge. So what is the process? So there's 5 core components. And I first want to just highlight one of the quotes that I've come across that I think is quite apropos for self-care. And that is that self-care is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift that we have, the gift that we are put on earth to offer others. So the first thing that the process entails is beneficial self-care activities. So some of you have already sent me a list of the things that you are interested in focusing on the challenge, and I say yay. Some of you already have a very significant self-care routine, and again, I say yay. So keep doing what you know to do. And also, if you're one of those people that isn't doing something you know to do, I want to encourage you in that as well. So beneficial self-care activities is basically all that everybody will be doing as a common focus. Do what you know to do. However, there's some things that are more impactful than others. There's some ways of doing things that can make a difference. One of the things that I want to help you to understand through this challenge is what's called the 1%. There's 1% degree between water that boils and water that doesn't. At 211 degrees, water does not boil. At 212, it does. The 1 degree rule happens in a lot of different areas. And part of what I will offer you are suggested readings. There's a book called 212 that I will offer that highlights a whole series of where one little thing, 1 degree of thing, one small change can make a humongous difference. And that's what I want to really focus on for this challenge. I want you to understand how one little change can make all the difference in the world, and how you will discover it is by trying it. When I tell people to do things or I share with what I have done, it doesn't have the same impact as when you try it. So each week, core number 2, will be a weekly challenge, something that I am asking you to try every day for the week. And then each day, there'll be an assignment. The assignments will be simple. I'm asking you not to spend more than 5 minutes on the assignment, but it will be things that will make a difference in you creating a change in your way of being and the way in which you take care of yourself. Number 3, submission of your daily assignment. Part of this process is one of accountability. So I'm going to be taking better care of myself because I have to lead and facilitate this challenge. So that's my accountability. I know that everyone who's in this challenge is an honorable person. And so when you tell me you're going to do something, I believe you, but I want to give you that extra incentive to do an even better job because you submit your assignment to me on a daily basis. If you miss a day, if something happens, no sweat. We just keep it moving. Send it to me as soon as you can. But I do want to encourage you to do the assignments every day and then to submit the daily assignment to me via email or text. And then number 4, weekly check-ins and learning lab. So once a week at a time that will be determined very soon, because I want to get feedback, excuse me, from everyone, I will establish a time that we will be able to get together virtually, potentially like this, through a Google Hangout, or through a webinar, or through a conference call, but also in person. So I've had a number of people who live in Michigan say, are we going to get together? Will we have an opportunity to come to your house? Will we meet somewhere? And the answer is yes. So we'll create, kind of a schedule, again, a standard time each week, and then I'll communicate where we're going to be connecting. And so I will be sharing information. We'll be sharing information together. And if you're not available to be at that, it will be available to you via video. So everybody can participate at their leisure, and those who are available that time can experience it live. And then last but not least is the development of a three-dimensional self-care life plan. By the time you finish the 40-day self-care challenge, I am confident that you will have a new self-care plan for your life. So again, whether you're at the high, medium, or low on the range of self-care practice currently, I'm believing that your practice will be elevated and that it will be very intentional in terms of all three dimensions. So by the end, having been informed and influenced by trying things out for yourself, learning from others, and learning through the experience that I facilitate, I look for you to have a new way of taking care of yourself and being available to give more to everything that's important in your life. So, how is this unique? Again, this process is designed to anchor you, to help you develop and maintain and to elevate the ways in which you take care of yourself. Two, we're focusing from the inside out. You will be asked, and as you will see for this first week, to consider, to know, and to see before focusing too much on your plan and doing. A lot of the challenges that are out there, again, which have their own merit and benefit, are about doing. This one is more about being, and it's more about having, and then it's about doing. And the being really is the spirit realm. The having, contrary to what people think, is at the soul realm, and the doing is what happens in the body realm. The having at a soul level is recognizing that there are things that we hold on to, whether they're tangible or intangible, that it has us, and it might not be a good thing. Like if we have anger towards someone, that has an impact on what we do. It has an impact on how we feel. But if we let go of that anger, if we choose to forgive whatever has happened, then there's a change at a spiritual level, at a soul level, and at a body level. So some of the having is having a will and having an emotion and having thoughts that then produce themselves in the earth. Number three, the process provides a roadmap, guidepost, and a compass, and a gathering space for the engineering of your next level lifestyle. So when you follow this process, it will be like a roadmap. There will be guideposts to help you kind of see where are the best boundaries, the healthiest boundaries. Sometimes too much of a good thing is no longer a good thing. That's what I mean by guideposts. A compass, a clarity around what really are the most important things to be focused on. Because there's a lot of things that you can do that will take you all the way around the world. But if we're focused on you being able to contribute more to the world, you being available and living long for your family, you being able to do what you were called and put on earth to do, those are the things that we want to stay focused on. And then number four, that this is about learning and growing together. So again, I'm not here as an expert, although it is an area that I have studied extensively, but looking at that we can learn and grow together. Excuse me. So there are some critical success factors for this challenge. First of all, commitment. That's the first thing that you see when you look, if you've had a chance to look at the for week one guide for the self-care challenge, that I am looking for you to be committed first and foremost to yourself. This process is about committing to yourself. And actually, let me pause so that I can actually take you to that particular form, the guide. It's a beneficial document for you to have, and I want to just take a moment to walk through that with you. So I'm encouraging you to prioritize your wholeness, to realize that you cannot give from an empty vessel. And that your whole being affects the quality of your relationship to everyone and to everything. Vision. I'm encouraging you to really envision like what your life will be like, what you will feel, what you will think, what you will know if you really prioritize taking care of yourself or taking care of it at a new level. Having a visual image and visual picture is essential to self care. If you don't think it's going to make a difference, unfortunately, you won't. You may have been familiar with the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I may be misquoting it, but that's basically the essence of what it says. And that's often so true. So you'd have to have a vision that, yes, I can do this. I can do this for not only a day, for 40 days, for a year, but for the rest of my life. Taking good care of myself is eminently doable, and it's what I must do. Also, trying on. Some of what I will share, you'll say, oh, tried that, been there, done that, doesn't work for me. I'm asking you to try it again in the way in which I may be suggesting it or may be offered to others. If there's thoughts that come to you, if there's reading that you do about things that are unfamiliar to you, and you're like, I don't know if I want to try something new, I'm encouraging you to try it. You can always try something at this point in time and determine that it doesn't work, but I'm asking you to withhold judgment in advance. I'm asking you to just try it. Just try it on and see how it works for you under this particular context and then this particular time in your life, because you might discover your new best friend. And then next, I also want to encourage you to do less, that often less is more. That some of you have sent me a list of, 7 to 15 things that you're planning to do on the challenge. And I'm more interested in you doing one or two or three things consistently, doing them well, and especially if they're the things that really make a big difference. Everything we do doesn't have the same impact. So part of what you'll be learning in this challenge are what are those things that actually have the greatest impact. So let me continue walking through this document real quick just to make sure that you are clear um, in terms of the challenge. So I will go back um, to the, well, no, I won't go back to the PowerPoint. I'll just stay with this. So for week one, I want you to practice stillness, to be still and know, to begin ideally each day, ideally take pauses throughout the day, and ideally to end each day by just being still, stilling, making still your mind, stilling your heart, and stilling your spirit, and just really not being focused on what you have done, what you need to do, all the things that are going on around you. I encourage you to get in a quiet place, even if that quiet place is a bathroom. But at least for 10 minutes a day, for every day of this week, to be still. And if you don't know what to do with your stillness, I want you to consider and to try on these thoughts, the thought and the knowledge that you are loved no matter what is going on in your life right now. And I know some of you are dealing with a lot. To know first and foremost at all times that you are loved, that you are wonderfully made, and to know that your spirit, your soul, and your body deserves and serves better with good care. So it needs stillness. It needs, because sometimes we can sleep and not get rest. Sometimes we cannot move, like sitting around and watching TV, but that's not the same as being still. Stillness is really quieting everything down. And it's amazing what happens when you do that. Um, so, so let me, I want to return back to the PowerPoint because that's the prettier version of what we have. Well, actually, let me pause. It looks like there is a question about it. I missed the beginning. So again, if you're joining late, yes, there will be a replay of this. I will continue to make this available throughout the challenge. So if you want to share this with someone else who you think might be interested in the self-care challenge, please do so. If you want to be reminded of some of the principles, feel free to do that. So yes, this will be available if you've missed any portion of the PowerPoint. So thank you for asking that question. So um, week one, be still and know. Like, I wish that every day I could sit someplace like her, but I am very blessed that I do live in a beautiful area. So I do have my own beautiful view to be able to sit and look out at, to walk in. So that's one of the extra incentives that I get for going walking every day as one aspect of my own beneficial self care activities. So the assignment. So for day one, um, email or text me a selfie, and I want it to be a current selfie. I want, for some people, you are going to be surprised to find out that the picture you take of yourself today, or that you already took yesterday, you're going to look different at the end of 40 days. So that's one of the reasons for taking the selfie. Also, because I want you to just take a moment to look at you, look at how handsome or how beautiful you are, to really see your beautiful smile, the twinkle in your eyes, hopefully your glowing skin. If you look at your picture and you see fatigue, okay, fine. That doesn't take away from the beauty that still lies within. And I also want you to identify 7 words that best describe you, but not just you in general, but that best describe you well rested and having participated in this challenge, having met your goals. So, the best of you. So, 7 words that describe you. So, for day two, a love letter. There's more detail. I won't go through all the detail, but I want you to take 5 minutes, each of these only 5 minutes, to write a love letter to yourself. You might want to take 5 minutes first to just kind of think about it. And I have some guiding questions to help you consider what sort of things you might want to incorporate, but it's totally up to you. Write yourself a love letter. And it can start out as, dear love, or dear Chandra, or whatever you want to call yourself or refer to yourself. But literally write a letter, address it to the whatever you want to call yourself. Write lovingly about yourself and keep this letter with you, not only for the rest of the day, but I encourage you to keep it with you at all times. You'll be surprised, again, how simple activities like this can be transformative. Um, Day three, I want you to make a list of who matters most to you. List the most important people in your life. These are the people that you're taking the challenge for. Again, only take 5 minutes and submit it to me. But this is for day three. Day four, make a list of what matters most to you. This might include where you work, what you do, your children's school, other associations. But this is what you are called to do. And these are the causes that you contribute to that this challenge will help you support more greatly. So day five, I want you to make a list of the questions that you have about self-care or the things that you would like to know more about. I would love to find out. And also let me just highlight that not all of these things, but some of these are things that I was going to include in the survey. And several of you said, oh, I'm going to do the challenge, Chandra. I just haven't had the time to do the survey. I mean, some of you have been literally traveling around the world. Some of you are responsible for many different people and running incredible businesses, divisions, departments, et cetera, et cetera. So I've broken it up to incorporate it into the challenge. Again, 5 minutes. You must take 5 minutes to do these assignments and ideally submit it to me every day. But again, if you miss a day, then just send it to me as soon as you can. But I do want to encourage you to do it on a daily basis and ideally to submit it to me on a daily basis. So day 6, what aspects of self-care are you most concerned about? Are there areas that you've identified as being unbalanced or at a real deficit? Overall, I want to see what do you believe are your self-care needs? And for day 7, what's been your experience with self-care? What awesome experiences have you had? Make a list of those things which nourish each aspect of yourself, your spirit, soul, and body. So for me, one of the reasons why I chose walking is because walking has been proven over and over again to be one of the best exercises you can do. So let me also just quickly share that the things that I'm advocating, because I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, are things that you can do for life, There are things that have been universally true, meaning throughout time, that have worked for people across parts of the world. It works and has worked across all dimensions of the human experience. What I will be focusing on and advocating are those things that work universally. So walking is universal. We've always walked, and it's one of the main ways that we get exercise. But also, for me, walking is a spiritual experience. On a day like today, when it's raining, sometimes I'll still go out and walk. But if the weather is such that it doesn't make sense to go out and walk, then I'll do the stairs or I'll walk inside or I'll double up on another day. But for the most part, I don't even let weather stop me from walking, because walking nurtures me at a spiritual level, being in nature, being able to hear the different birds, being able to hear the rustling of the leaves, the wind, all of that really speaks to me at a spiritual level and reminds me of how great is, is the Lord. Excuse me. It also speaks to me at a soul level, because as I'm walking, I'm releasing the things that have been weighing on my mind, the things that have been weighing me down, all the busyness that I can find myself getting caught up in. And of course, at a body level, it also speaks to me, because it's moving major muscles, and so it is outstanding exercise for me. Even walking even helps to keep my stomach flat. So I don't have a perfectly flat stomach now. I'm hoping by the end of this challenge that my stomach will be flatter. And I know that one of the main ways that I can do that is actually by increasing my walking practice on a daily basis. So questions. We're almost at the end of our time. So um, again, this question I had prepared, but someone asked it in the chat, so I wanted to answer it at that time. I know someone that I believe will really benefit from this challenge. Is there still time for more people to join? Absolutely. But I do encourage them to join ASAP. It is not as beneficial to do several of these things all at the same time. The benefit, the maximum benefit, is to do these little things every day. So please have them join in as soon as possible. And basically, the easiest way to join is, again, to go to the website, liveandgive100.com. Um, or you can simply have them call me or email me. And if there's other ways we need to work it out, because I've had people mail me checks, I've had people give me cash in person. So I'm able to do whatever we can mutually agree to. And then next, can you call me if you still have questions? Of course, everybody who's on here has my number. And of course, don't feel like you're bothering me. I would love to hear from you via text, via email, phone call, or what have you. And then also, I've already had this asked. I know it kind of came up earlier, but several people have asked this who've already had a chance to look through the documents. Do you have to submit the assignments every day or once a week? I am asking you to do them every day. You can do it any time of the day. You can submit it to me any time of the day. It only takes 5 minutes, and I am literally forbidding you from taking more than 5 minutes. I want you to discover through practice how much can happen in 5 minutes and how much impact taking the time to do these things for 5 minutes could make. I'm asking you to try. But again, if you skip a day, yes, you can send 2 assignments the next day. If there really is some special circumstance, like you're traveling to a remote part of the world and won't have regular internet access, but you're participating in this challenge, can you submit it, on a weekly basis? Of course, I will, work with you, but I am asking you to honor the protocol for the challenge, which is to do the assignments every day and to do the weekly challenge every day. I want to highlight something here in terms of questions. I love this quote from Tony Robbins. Successful people ask better questions. As a result, they get better answers. I think that's a great quote. So the better questions you ask yourself, the better questions that come to mind throughout this process, that is a key to actually transformation. Ask good questions, get better answers. So next steps. So if you have not already done so, check your email for your week 1 guide, for your memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding, and also for the doodle poll. I might end up sending it out as a survey instead of a doodle poll, but there'll be some way that I'm inviting you to let me know what is the best time for our weekly check-in. And I'm also considering having the first way that we check in being what I'm calling have tea with me. So we would meet somewhere, whether it's at my house or some restaurant or cafe, and for us to have some tea or have a smoothie, or have some sort of beverage and chat and have a good time. Ideally, I'm always wanting to look for a place that those who want to be there but can't physically can join in. So that will be a factor whether we choose to Periscope or do the Google Hangout or some other way. So that's part of the process as well. Again, it's voluntary. If you can't make it, fine. But if you can, great. Also, everything that we'll do in the weekly check-ins, at least a portion of it, because it may not always be practical, but a portion of it will be recorded. I'm hoping that maybe one time we might even get together to dance, to actually do, like something that's fun and that's different. I came up with the idea. I would love to do like flash mobs, but it just matters if there's enough people who are willing and we can make that happen. So, and then last but not least, the next step is to submit your assignment on a daily basis. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to those who have been with me through the entire broadcast and kickoff. Thank you to everybody who has joined. Um, Thank you for being a part of this process and for what is going to happen as a result of us being together. So I'm just pausing to see if there's any final questions that anyone has. And I don't see any. So I look forward to hearing from each of you every day and to seeing the wonderful difference that this can make. So expect at the end of this challenge to physically feel better. Expect that at the end of this challenge to have renewed energy, to have greater focus and clarity, to have new answers to things that you might have been challenged with for years. Several of you are dealing with some major health challenges. Expect to overcome one or more of those challenges. Expect to understand what you can do differently in terms of changing your environment, changing your mindset, changing the way you look at a thing, changing sometimes one small thing and seeing how different, how much of a difference it can make. Recognize that actually the things that affect us most are the unseen. So very small things from a mass, from an earth tangible standpoint, have major impact on what actually happens in our physical environment. So first we will focus inside on our spirit, then our soul and our body, and recognize they work together. We will spend time really learning and understanding that. Because I've had several people say, why did you make it spirit, soul, and body? Well, for one, it is because I did a poll. I invited over 100 people to give me feedback on it. And I found that by a margin of 3-1, people really appreciated and liked the title, The Essentials of Self-Care, Spirit, Soul, and Body. And what I learned, and this was part of what I was working on, that's why I offered up that title as one of the options. But what I learned is that in terms of really improving your self-care and improving your life and what you're able to do with it, that focusing on all three levels is what makes the difference. So I definitely will be helping you to understand that better. There is a difference between your spirit and your soul. There is a difference between your mind and your soul. So we'll talk about that more throughout this challenge. So have a phenomenal day. As I look outside, it's starting to look brighter, but it is still a little bit wet, but it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. So thank you and take care.